Welcome back to more softball on TampaSpartans.tv. I'm Bruce Wozniak here to call the action for you as UT gets ready for Game 2 of their doubleheader against Assumption University. Spartans win the first game of the doubleheader 6-0 for their 12th consecutive victory, and they improved to 16-1 on the season. And Assumption still trying to get their first victory of the year. They're 0-5, and leading things off for them here in the top of the first in Game 2 is Caitlin Cahill. The Spartans' starting pitcher is Kelsey Winters. And you see that one that's deflected and over to Salt at first for out number 1 of the game. Kelsey Winters, just one appearance so far this season. She did start that game, took the loss, pitched just 3 innings, allowed 4 hits and 4 runs, all of them earned, so a 9.33 earned run average. And now sees a ball hit to left field, and Fantone underneath that one for out number 2. And the batter there was Kaylee Lakeham. So we'll see the first base player, Emily Balducci, for the Greyhounds. Winters delivers, and a bunt shown by Balducci. It goes back to the screen. Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes. And that one's fouled off. Balducci waiting for the next pitch from Winters, who looks down, is set, winds, delivers, and outside for a ball. One ball, 2 strikes. And to short, over to first, and just like that, the Greyhounds are done. In the top of the first, no runs, no hits. There were no Spartan errors and no Greyhound runners left on base. We'll be back with the bottom of the first after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium and getting ready for the bottom of the first inning. The Spartans, as usual, will be led off by their left fielder Lauren Fantone. And going here against starting pitcher Kaylin Waldron. And Waldron, a 9.55 earned run average this season, a 0-1 one-loss record. She has pitched 7 1/3 innings. a junior, 5'10" from Griswold, Connecticut. And her first pitch to Fantone is a ball. The 1-0 Fantone sends that one foul and out of play. Giving chase was Alyssa Johnson, the Greyhounds' third base player, but out of play it went. One ball, one strike. Fantone sends that one to left field, and that's caught by Bianca Vinciceri. The first out for the Spartans, and that'll bring up Lily Keister. Keister now hitting .368 through 17 games played. And way up high. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the home plate umpire, some words for Kaylin Waldron. And relaying the message to head coach Stacy Mayer, who came out of the Assumption dugout. Meanwhile, the Keister at bat continues at 2-1, and that one gets away. The count now 3-1. Way up high, and Keister draws ball 4. Spartans with a runner aboard here in the bottom of the first. Brings up Kenna Kreidler, the Spartans catcher. She's hitting .263. And Waldron does get the strike call there, 1-1. And nice pitch location there by Waldron as the count goes to 1-2. Kenna Kreidler doing a nice job holding off on that one as the count 2-2 with Lily Keister over at first. And that one will go foul. Check swing by Kreidler. Caitlin Waldron ready to work here again. And now the count goes full. Kreidler has battled back. And draws the walk. UT with 2 runners aboard here in the bottom of the first. And here comes Mark Mayer to talk to pitcher Kalen Waldron. And Mayer done with his conversation with his pitcher. So with runners now at first and second, Spartans get Mariah Galehouse to the plate, the number 4 hitter. Galehouse hitting .326. And a nice opportunity for her here early. And Waldron fires in a strike. Smacks that one to center field and caught. And advancing to third base is Lily Keister. Kenna Kreidler holding at first. That'll bring up Alexa Russo. Russo hitting .271. 2 outs, runners on the corners. Waldron will be ball 1. And Waldron backs off. Catcher Molly Green was looking into her own dugout. Russo bats that one right back to Waldron. Over to first for out number 3. The Spartans, no runs and no hits, no Greyhound errors, and 2 runners left on base. Scoreless after 1. Back with more softball on TampaSpartans.tv after this. Back here at the Moley Family Stadium, taking her warm-up pitches for UT, Kelsey Winters, who is from Wesley Chapel, not too far from here, 45 minutes away. Played her high school ball at Newsom and then went to Iowa, and now wearing the black, red, and white of the Tampa Spartans. And pitching here in the top of the second inning against the designated player Nadia Zak, freshman from Rochester, New York, for the Greyhounds. And that one goes outside for ball 1. And Russo with a nice play, and on her knees throws all the way to first in time for out number 1. A great stab and an equally impressive throw by the third base player, senior Alexa Russo. And that'll bring up the number 5 hitter, Maddie Bland. Well struck ball and an equally impressive catch by Mariah Gelhaus in right field. And very quickly, 2 outs for Assumption University in the top of the second, which will bring up the catcher, Molly Green. Ball 1 to her. Nice pitch location there by Winters. The count goes even. Molly Green was 2 for 2 in the first game of this doubleheader. And now she'll get another hit, as you see that one to left field. And so Molly Green is aboard for the Greyhounds with their first hit of the game. Emma Bloom, she was 0 for 3 in the first game of the doubleheader. Batting here in the top of the second, and gets the strike call, does Kelsey Winters. Bloom, the shortstop, hitting 7th. And that one just off the glove of Salt at first base. And the Greyhounds, with 2 outs in the top of the second, have runners on first and second now. As Alyssa Johnson up to bat for the Greyhounds. Nice strike there by Kelsey Winters. Alyssa Johnson was 0 for 2 in the first game of this doubleheader. Swings and misses. No balls, 2 strikes. Up high for ball 1. Kelsey Winters ready, winds, delivers, and it goes outside, and the count will go even. 2-2 now. Another one that goes outside high. 3-2. Winters against Alyssa Johnson. The 3-2. And the strikeout, as Johnson thought she drew the walk, and in disbelief, as there are no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on for the Greyhounds. So still scoreless after 1.5. We'll be back with more softball on TampaSpartans.tv after this. To start things off for the Spartans in the bottom of the second, it will be the number 6 hitter, first base player Abby Salt. She was 2 for 3 in the first game of this doubleheader and did have an RBI. Going here this time against pitcher Kaylin Waldron. And looks at that one for ball 1. Next pitch on the way, and right through the middle for a base hit, and Salt is aboard with a single. And the Spartans pitcher Kelsey Winters to the plate. Hitting 107 so far this season. She's had 28 at-bats. And the next pitch to her now from Waldron, she shows bunt. No balls, 2 strikes. And that one's up high for a ball. The 1-2 popped up, called for, and nobody gets to it as 3 of them converged on it. Pitcher, catcher, and third base player. And as a result, Kelsey Winters stays alive in the batter's box for UT. And popping up quickly, Molly Green, keeping an eye at first base where Spartans have Abby Salt as the base runner. The 2-2 now to Winters. Got just a little piece of it, fouled it back. Another 2-2. Bounce to third. Throw is at second, and they do get the lead runner. So fielder's choice by the pitcher Winters. That'll bring up shortstop McKenna DiMartino. DiMartino hitting 206 entering this game. Strike 1 to her. DiMartino was 1 for 2 in the first game of this doubleheader and smashes that one to left and caught by Bianca Vinciquire. 2 outs in the bottom of the second. That brings us to the bottom of the order, and Kenzie Reynolds Strike one to Reynolds, the Spartans' second base player. Kenzie was 1 for 2 in the first game of the doubleheader. She scored a run and drove one in. Hitting 194 on the season. Don't forget the Spartans do have a runner on first, as that one is smashed foul and far out of play. Pitcher Kelsey Winters is the runner for UT over at first. No score. And that one is going to be ball 2. And the catch made there for out number 3. So the Spartans, no runs on one hit. There were no Greyhound errors and one runner left on base. 0-0 after 2. We'll be back with more softball on TampaSpartans.tv right after this. And we are back. I'm Bruce Wozniak. Glad you can spend your Sunday afternoon with us here as the Spartans taking on Assumption University. Scoreless after 2 innings in Game 2 of the scheduled doubleheader. The left fielder, Bianca Vinciquire, hitting for the Greyhounds out of the number 9 spot in the lineup. She was 0 for 1 in the first game. Behind in the count 0-1. And the count now even at 1-1. Two balls, one strike. And not going to be enough for the Spartans defensively at first base. So Vinciquire aboard as the runner to start the 3rd inning for the Greyhounds. Kenzie Reynolds, the Spartans' second base player, who tried to complete that in time and couldn't, and pulled salt off the bag in the process. As you see, jumping up right away, Kenna Kreidler, looking at possibly throwing down to first, keeping the runner honest if nothing else. 1 ball, no strikes here against Caitlin Cahill. A nice bunt, and the sacrifice is successful. As Cahill out at first. And Vinciquire over to second. That brings up the right fielder, Kaylee Lakeham. And strike one to her. Lakeham was 0 for 1 and also walked in game one, showing bunt here. Nicely done. And she's out at first, but they advance the runner to third now. So 2 outs in the top of the third. And the number 3 hitter now to the plate, Emily Balducci, the first base player. And she fouls off the first pitch from Kelsey Winters, who's hoping to continue this shutout. UT did not give up a run in the first game, and 1 out away from keeping it that way here through what would be the first 3 innings of hitting for Assumption in game 2. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. And Balducci fouls that one down the left field line. Balducci went 1 for 3 in the first game of this doubleheader. She's behind in the count right now, 1-2. Runner over at third and follows that one down the third base line. Staying alive here against Kelsey Winters. And another foul to the same part of the stadium. Winters checking the wristband. Ready. And a run is going to score as that one got away from Kenna Kreidler. And so the Greyhounds finally get on the scoreboard for the first time today as Bianca Vinciquere crosses the plate. And it's a 1-0 lead for the visitors with 2 outs here in the top of the third. And the at-bat continues for Emily Balducci. A count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. And picked up by Reynolds and over to first. And plenty of time for out number 3, but not before Assumption gets on the scoreboard. 1 run on 1 hit. There were no Spartan errors and no runners left on base. Through 2.5, Assumption leads at 1-0. Back with more after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Back here ready to start the bottom of the third. Fantone hitting for UT here. The Spartans leadoff hitter. Three balls, no strikes. Fantone had flown to left field in the first inning. Flown out to left field, and this time she draws the walk on 4 straight pitches. So that'll bring up Lily Keister, the center fielder. Keister drew a base on balls herself back in the first inning. UT trying to answer back after the Greyhounds got on the scoreboard in the top half of this inning. .10" Kaylin Waldron pitching to 5'3" Lily Keister. The 1-0 on the way, showing bunt. And the home plate umpire yelling foul ball. And everybody returns to their places. Fantone to first base and Keister back to the batter's box. And that one will roll foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Keister back into her spot and awaiting the pitch. And the count now even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lily wanting to settle things down after exerting some energy and running all the way to first on 2 consecutive bunt attempts that went foul. Now the 2-2, and a nice hit there. Well struck ball by Keister, and she's aboard with a single, and UT now has runners at first and second. Nobody out in the bottom of the third. And the home team starting to try to put together something resembling a threat as the catcher, Kenna Kreidler, comes to the plate. The number 3 hitter, and she drew a base on balls back in the first inning. Shows bunt, and it goes foul. Signals there from head coach Leslie Cantor to her batter and the 2 base runners. And that one, ball 1. Some words over at first base from assistant coach Denise Rubio, talking to Lily Keister, the base runner there. And there's another bunt attempt. That one goes back to the screen. One ball, 2 strikes. And the strikeout with the bat on the shoulder of Kreidler. And so 1 out in the bottom of the third. However, it's cleanup hitter Mariah Galehouse into the batter's box for the Spartans. She flew out to center field in the first inning. Galehouse 0 for 1 in the first game. She did draw a walk and did score a run. And as I mentioned before, hitting .326 on the season. 1-0. That's low for ball 2. And time called by Greyhounds catcher Molly Green. A quick word with her pitcher Kaylin Waldron. And now the home plate umpire Brian Seraphin out to break that up. The at-bat resumes for Mariah Galehouse. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out, and runners on first and second. Galehouse smashes that one to left field and caught. And the Spartans will hold their runners. A well-hit ball by Mariah Galehouse. But Bianca Vinciquire with a catch there that puts the Spartans with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. So we'll go to the number 5 hitter, Alexa Russo. Russo was 1 for 2 in game 1 of this doubleheader. She had 2 RBI and scored a run. Grounded out to the pitcher in the first inning of this game. And Brian Seraphin, the home plate umpire, calling a ball because of the pitcher's motion. Well, that one's going to be hit to right field and caught. For out number 3, Russo is retired. Spartans, no runs on 1 hit. There were no Greyhound errors and 2 runners left on base. Through 3 complete, the visitors lead at 1-0. Back with more softball on TampaSpartans.tv after this. Ready to start the top of the 4th. And the designated player, the number 4 hitter, Nadia Zak. She grounded out to third base in the second inning. And fouls that one back to the screen. That one gets away from Kreidler. 2 balls, 1 strike. That one's going to go foul down the left field line and not playable, as it just fell on the other side of the fence that Lauren Fantone charged towards. So the count even now 2-2. And that one is going to be chased by Fantone and caught this time for out number 1. Good blast there by Nadia Zach, but Fantone able to pull that one down. So we'll see the second base player, Maddie Bland, for her second at-bat of the game. First one resulted in an out to Mariah Galhouse in right field. And now the 0-1 to Bland in the dirt. One ball, 1 strike. And Bland sends that one out of play, up off the screen. Here's the 1-2 from Kelsey Winters, up high, and the count will go even. Full count now. Winters up high on that one. Three-two on the way. Oh, and that one hit the batting helmet of Maddie Bland. So a runner aboard for the Greyhounds. That brings up the catcher, Molly Green, and hits that one right to short, and the toss to second misses wildly, and they try to get the runner at third, but Bland is safe over there. So runners on the corners now for Assumption University. And Leslie Cantor is going to go out to talk to her pitcher, Kelsey Winters. Been a few location issues from Winters so far. 2 wild pitches and then the hit batsman. Nobody throwing in the Spartans bullpen at the moment. Cantor with a long discussion, however, with the battery and the infielders. And so Kelsey Winters will stay in the pitching circle at least for the time being. And we will keep an eye on the UT bullpen to see if anyone gets up to start throwing over there. We do have a pinch runner into the game for the Greyhounds. Reagan Gregoire over at first, and she takes a big lead and retreats back to the first base bag. The batter is Emma Bloom. Shortstop, she singled in the second. Bloom with a bunt, and they toss it home, and they call Bland safe. Maddie Bland with her team's second run of the game. And they end up with runners on first and second after all that. So a 2-0 lead now for the visiting Assumption University Greyhounds. One out here in the top of the fourth. Naomi Cohen is going to come in to pinch hit in place of Alyssa Johnson. We did see Cohen in game one. She went 1 for 1 at the plate. And now a strike thrown by Kelsey Winters. Ground ball and a race to the third base bag, and they do call out. Nice hustle by McKenna DiMartino, who just beat the runner there. And so 2 outs for the Greyhounds in the top of the fourth. And head coach Stacy Mayer over talking to the home plate umpire. Looks like she's going to make another change in her lineup as she's sending Heather Junderlees in to hit in place of Bianca Vincicari. So not bashful with the pinch hitters, Coach Stacy Mayer. And a ball called here against Junderlees. 1 ball, no strikes. Kelsey Winters winds, delivers, and that one's sent to center field, and Lily Keister makes the catch for out number 3. But not before the Greyhounds get another run on no hits. There was 1 error, and there were 2 runners left on base. The visitors now up 2-0 after 3.5. We'll be back with more softball after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium, bottom of the fourth, the Assumption University Greyhounds with a 2-0 lead. First base player Abby Salt Batting for UT. And a strike at the knees for pitcher Kaylin Waldron. She has thrown 54 pitches entering this inning. Her next one on the way. And Abby Salt sees the count go even 1-1. She singled in the second inning. And pops that one up in the air. Called for and caught by Emma Bloom for the out. That'll bring up the Spartans pitcher Kelsey Winters. Batting in the number 7 position in the batting order. Winters hit into a fielder's choice in the second inning. Trying to help her own cause here. Ball 1. Ground ball and over to first in time to retire Kelsey Winters as the second out of the bottom of the 4th inning. That'll bring up McKenna DiMartino, Spartans shortstop. She flew out to left field in the second inning. Ball 1 to DiMartino. That one's high and outside for ball 2. Here comes the 2-0, and DiMartino watches that one for ball 3. Four straight pitches, and McKenna DiMartino is aboard with a base on balls with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. So we'll go to the bottom of the order. And second base player Kenzie Reynolds, as she has a word with her head coach Leslie Cantor, McKenna DiMartino, and assistant coach Denise Rubio over there to join, as Mark Mayer is out in the pitching circle talking with Kaylin Waldron, and of course catcher Molly Green out there as well. Kenzie Reynolds popped out to second in the second. UT only batting 1 for 9 with runners on so far in this game. And a strike called there against Reynolds. Fouled off. We start to see just a few shadows showing up on the field here. 4:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Another beautiful day, currently 73 degrees. And next pitch on the way in the dirt, and advancing to second base will be McKenna DiMartino. Fouls that one off. Does Reynolds. An opportunity to cut the Greyhounds' lead in half with a runner in scoring position on second base. Next pitch from Kaylin Waldron, popped up, called for, and caught by Maddie Bland for out number 3. No runs, no hits, no Greyhound errors, and one Spartan runner left on base. 2-0 in favor of Assumption after 4. We'll be back with more after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Caitlin Cahill to lead things off for Assumption University in the top of the 5th inning. The Greyhounds center fielder, and she fouls that one down the right field line. Now fouls one off the other way. Kelsey Winters ready and delivers one that is popped up, and that will be off the screen. Caitlin Cahill stays alive, albeit down in an 0-2 count. And another foul ball. That one rolled over towards the Spartans dugout. No activity in the Spartans bullpen, in case you're wondering. Another 0-2 offering from Winters, and smashed to left center field as Keister races over and makes the catch for out number 1. That'll bring up the right fielder, Kaylee Lakem. The number 2 hitter. And sends that one to left field, and Lauren Fantone there to make the catch for out number 2. Grace Heim, the batter for Assumption. First base player. And it drops as Reynolds and Galehouse both converged on it. So Heim is aboard here in the top of the 5th inning. That brings up the number 4 hitter, designated player Nadia Zach. She's 0 for 2 in this game. The 0-1. And almost the same place. This time Reynolds under it and makes the catch for out number 3. There were no runs on one hit, no Spartan errors, and one Greyhound runner left on base. Spartans still looking to get on the scoreboard. We'll see if they can do so when we return on TampaSpartans.tv after this. Bottom of the 5th inning. The Spartans have only 2 hits through the first 4 innings, and Lauren Fantone, UT's left fielder, will try to change that as she leads off the bottom of the 5th inning and her team trailing 2-0. Kaylin Waldron throws in her 69th pitch of the game. 1 ball, no strikes, and Fantone smashes that one, and a ground out as Bland throws over to Jaden Tanucci. Or excuse me, that's 18, not 16. Grace Heim, I apologize. Lily Keister, the Spartans center fielder, into the batter's box. She walked in the first and singled in the third. And sees ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Fouled up high over the Spartans dugout. One ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. Keister. Strike 2 called. Spartans with a 12-game winning streak in jeopardy here. They've only lost once this season. 16 victories and just 1 defeat. Trailing 2-0. And that one is going to be ball 2, and the count will go even. Keister ready. Waldron ready. Pitch on the way. And hit to left field. And caught on the run by Bianca Vincicure. So 2 outs now for the Spartans in the bottom of the 5th. And UT catcher Kenna Kreidler to the plate to try to continue some offense. Kreidler walked in the first inning and then struck out looking in the third. The 1-0 pitch on the way to her. And that's ball 2. Strike 1. Kreidler looked at that one. Kaylin Waldron's 2-1, and that's high and outside for ball 3. And there's ball 4. Kenna Kreidler, her second walk of the game. And that brings Mariah Galehouse to the plate. We are going to get a pinch runner for Kreidler over at first as Devin Hammonds enters the game as a pinch runner. And I do believe that there was someone throwing in the bullpen for the Greyhounds. Galehouse 0 for 2 in this game. And strike 1 to Mariah here in the bottom of the 5th. Flew out to center field in the first. And lined out to the left fielder in third. And swings and misses to fall behind 0-2. Kaylin Waldron, who threw 4 2/3, has only allowed 2 hits. And a well-hit ball by Galehouse. However, she's out at first, and that's the end of the 5th for UT. No runs and no hits. There were no Greyhound errors, and 1 runner left on base through 5 complete. Assumption leads it 2-0. We'll be back with more softball after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium in the start of the 6th inning as Maddie Bland in to hit for Assumption University. And number 5 hitter. She's 0 for 1 and was also hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. Ball 2. Strike 1. Called by Brian Seraphin, the home plate umpire. 2-1 now from Kelsey Winters. Swung on and a base hit. Nicely run out by Bland as Galehouse tried to relay it back to the infield, but not in time. That'll bring up the catcher, Molly Green. And Spartans coach Leslie Cantor is going to make a pitching change first as she takes the ball from Kelsey Winters. And Mariah Galehouse is going to come in from right field and will take over as the pitcher for the Spartans, as Joey Trawick will take her place in right field. So 5 hits allowed by Kelsey Winters. She gave up 2 runs, one of them earned, had 1 strikeout. Winters threw 67 pitches, 48 of them for strikes. Faced 23 batters. And Leslie Cantor got to the point where she decided she had seen enough and makes the pitching change here in the top of the 6th with nobody out and a runner on first base. And Galehouse sends that one in. Her first pitch is a ball, as you saw Kreidler pop up and look down at the runner Bland over at first base. A bunt attempt by Green that goes foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Green ready, Galehouse ready, pitch on the way. Showing bunt again. Kreidler tried to get Bland at first. One ball, 2 strikes. Count even. The 2-2. Low for ball 3. Amazing to see the way that Galehouse comes in from right and is just locked in the circle. There's a batted ball. Reynolds, second to first, and a double play. Nicely turned by the Spartans defense for a shot in the arm for a team that's trailing 2-0 in the top of the 6th. Trying to preserve a winning streak that is at 12 coming into this game. And that'll bring up Assumption University's Emma Bloom, the shortstop. She singled in the 2nd and hit into a fielder's choice in the 4th. Batted ball, fielded nicely over to first, and that'll be the 3rd and final out of the top of the 6th. No runs on 1 hit. There were no Spartan errors. 1 Greyhound runner left on base. We are through 5 1/2 Assumption leads it 2-0. Back with more after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium, a 2-0 lead as Assumption University trying to get their first victory of the season. 0-5 coming into this one, and they have the home team on the ropes. Alexa Russo hoping to change that as she starts things off here for UT. She's 0 for 2 in this game and takes the first pitch for a ball. Kaylin Waldron has thrown 83 pitches coming into this inning, has issued 5 walks. And Russo, a batted ball, that's going to be a ground out. And we'll move to the number 6 spot in the batting order, and Abby Salt, Spartans' first base player. 1 for 2 in this game. Started off with a single back in the second, and then popped out to short in the fourth. Ball 1. Waldron, the pitcher, ready. Deals. And Salt had to just pull back from that one as the count goes to 2-0. High and outside for ball 3. And she does get the strike call there, as Kaylin Waldron has gotten the job done here, limiting the Spartans to just 2 hits through this whole game, although, as I mentioned a minute or two ago, she has issued 5 walks. Can they draw number 6? Indeed they do. So the 6th base on balls, and UT will bring the tying run to the plate in the person of Joey Trawick. And we're going to get a pinch runner as Salt heads back to the dugout. And Daisy Watterson is going to run for her. Conference by the visitors out in the pitching circle, as you see Stacy Mayer talking to Kaylin Waldron and all of the infielders, not to mention catcher Molly Green as well. UT having their little conference over here near the third base bag. Joey Trawick scored a run in the first game of this doubleheader, a game that UT won 6-0. One out, runner on first, and strike one called against Trawick. Swing and a foul tip, 0-2. Trawick ready, waiting the pitch from Kalen Waldron. And now it's on the way and outside for a ball. Trawick hitting out of the number 7 position in the batting order. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that one's in the dirt. The count will go even as Daisy Waterson, the runner at first base, as the umpire out to talk to Kalen Waldron once again. Umpire Brian Serafin has had a lot to say about Kalen Waldron in the pitching circle in this game. And interesting to see if that kind of throws her off mentally and gets to her with how many times he's spoken to her. There's one to short, and they're not going to be able to make a play, meaning the Greyhounds defensively. And so UT with runners at first and second with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And Spartans coach Leslie Cantor making another change, as we are going to see Olivia Feldman, a local product from not too far away at all in Lithia, Florida, played her high school ball at Newsom, as did Kelsey Winters, who had started this game as UT's pitcher. Olivia Feldman appearing in her 5th game of the season. Has only had 5 at-bats so far in 2025. Feldman looking for her first hit of the season. This would be a great time for it if you're a Spartans fan, as that one goes outside. Count even 1-1. Feldman, a 5'8" sophomore. .10" pitcher against a 5'8" batter, and a strike called there. So 1-2 now to Olivia Feldman. And Feldman sends it to right field and caught. And the runners hold. So 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. Nicely hit ball by Olivia Feldman, but good catch made out in right field by Kaylee Lakem. And we're going to have another pinch hitter, as Abby Johns is going to hit instead of Kenzie Reynolds. Abby Johns was 1 for 1 in game 1 and scored a run earlier today, the first game of this doubleheader. Waldron's first pitch to her, and to second base it goes, and back in safely. Very close call. Daisy Watterson, the pinch runner. And now the 1-0 coming. Two balls, no strikes. Abby Johns, her team trailing 2-0. Next pitch, and gets a third straight ball. And Molly Green wants to go out and talk to her pitcher, Kaylin Waldron. Keep in mind, it bears repeating that Waldron has already issued 6 base on balls in this game. 3 balls, no strikes to the pinch hitter, Abby Johns, freshman from down in Sarasota. And there's ball 4. That is unlucky 7 for Kaylin Waldron. And that walk means that the bases are loaded with Spartans. And it also puts them back to the top of the order. And left fielder Lauren Fantone, who is 0 for 2 and has drawn one of those 7 walks. Strike called. Keep in mind there are 2 outs. Bases loaded. Fantone smashes that one and tossed to second base for the 3rd out as the Greyhounds get out of a jam. Spartans no runs on 1 hit. There were no Greyhound errors and 3 runners left on base. We will go to the top of the 7th, and Assumption University continues to lead 2-0. Back with more after this on TampaSpartans.tv. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Assumption University to start off the top of the 7th inning. They have themselves a 2-0 lead. As Mariah Galehouse, who took over for starting pitcher Kelsey Winters, ready to work here against third base player Alyssa Johnson. Johnson struck out back in the 2nd inning. Strike 1 to her here in inning number 7. Changeup that does not fool Johnson, and the count goes even 1-1. That one's low for ball 2. Foul ball. Count even at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch from Galehouse. And staying alive is Alyssa Johnson. The Spartans will remain home. Another doubleheader scheduled for this coming Friday. That is March 7. Game 1 will start at 1 p.m. West Liberty providing the opposition. And that one's going to go foul as Johnson continues her at-bat here in the top of the 7th. UT also with another doubleheader the next day, Saturday, a week from yesterday, March 8. 1 o'clock for the first game again. Adelphi will provide the opposition that day. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Galehouse gets the strikeout, and down goes Alyssa Johnson. One out here in the top of the 7th. Bianca Vincicure is the batter, and the first one is called a strike. The 1-1 dropped by Kreidler. 2 balls, 1 strike. Popped up, called for, and caught by Abby Salt for out number 2. We'll go to the top of the order, and Caitlin Cahill. The Assumption University center fielder takes ball 1. Cahill having a word with her head coach, Stacy Mayer, over halfway between third base and the Spartans dugout. An extended conversation at that. Back to the batter's box she goes. Galehouse delivers, and strike 1. Next one on the way, and gets the strike call. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cahill another glance at her coach, and now back into the batter's box she goes. Galehouse ready, sends it in, and a shot to left field that Lauren Fantone corrals. So 3 outs, no runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, and no runners left on base for the Greyhounds. Last chance for the Spartans. Go to the bottom of the 7th, trailing 2-0. Back after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Here we go at the bottom of the 7th as UT gets their 2, 3, and 4 hitters to the plate. And just 3 hits through 6 innings. Need to string together enough offense to get 2 runs across and avoid what would be just their second defeat of the season. Kaylin Waldron in the pitching circle. 105 pitches thrown. And there's a ball to start off the bottom of inning number 7. Lily Keister walked in the first inning, had a single in the 3rd, and then flew out to foul territory in left field in the 5th. That one is low and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Batted ball by Keister, and not in time at first as Keister with an infield single. And so Kenna Kreidler comes to the plate as the tying run as UT gets their leadoff hitter aboard with their 4th hit of the game. Kreidler has walked twice in this game, and she also struck out looking. Strike 1, called by home plate umpire Brian Serafin. Waldron delivers in the dirt, and going to second base will be Lily Keister. So UT now with a runner in scoring position. Nobody out, and a count of 1-1 to Kenna Kreidler. A little bit of a jump by Keister as she saw the ball in the dirt. Again, 2 balls, 1 strike. That one saw Kreidler pull her waist back to avoid being hit. 3 balls, 1 strike. The 3-1 swing and a foul tip. The count will go full. Batted ball by Kreidler, and they hold up the runner at third. Keister. And so runners on the corners now. Kreidler at first and Keister at third. And the cleanup hitter, Mariah Galehouse, to the batter's box. And we look like we're going to have a pitching change for Assumption University as Mark Mayer is talking to the home plate umpire. And indeed, Kaylin Waldron, who had thrown 115 pitches, walked 7 batters and allowed 5 hits. She gets applause as she heads to the dugout and gives way to Anna Tassoni. Tassoni, a 0-2 one-loss record this season. She's made 3 appearances and has a 24.50 earned run average. She has only pitched 2 innings. Gave up 7 hits, allowed 9 runs, 7 of them earned. However, head coach Stacy Mayer putting a new face, a new arm in that the Spartans have not seen yet, and hoping that that'll be enough to close things out for her team. Although they do need 3 outs, and UT has runners on the corner, so the chess match continues. And Mariah Galehouse, who is over 3, one would argue, well, wouldn't that mean that she's due? So let's see what happens as Tassoni takes over here and goes head-to-head with the player that came on as the relief pitcher for the home team in this game. Tassoni, a lefty. Her first pitch is a strike. The 0-1 to Galehouse. She smashes that foul down the third base line. Leslie Cantor vocal over near the third base bag as Galehouse steps back into the batter's box. No balls, 2 strikes. And a Tassoni ready, and that's outside for ball 1. Kenna Kreidler is on first base, Lily Keister at third. They represent the tying runs, plural. The 1-2 to Galehouse, and she hits a base hit to center field, and crossing the plate, Lily Keister, 2-1 now, and Kreidler advances to second. The 6th hit of the game for the Spartans, and Assumption actually has 5, yet they lead this game 2-1. And shows you that all those walks do add up. Alexa Russo showed bunt there. Russo taking her instructions from Spartans coach Leslie Cantor. Tassoni looks over into her dugout. The 1-0 on the way. Russo bunts, lays it down nicely, and the ball is dropped at first, and the tying run scores. Kenna Kreidler crossed home plate. And home plate umpire Brian Seraphin is reversing some of what just took place. And is saying that Russo is out at first. And so the runners are going back to where they were, meaning Galehouse at first and Kreidler at second. And so Abby Salt heads to the batter's box. And so we're back to 2-1 in favor of the Greyhounds. And surprisingly, not much protest from the Spartans coaching staff. To Sony's pitch, low and away for a ball. And now the 1-0 to Abby Salt And that's high and outside for ball 2. You can cut the tension with a knife here inside Namoli Family Stadium. 2-0 on the way, and Salt holds back on that one, and the count goes to 3-0. Good restraint, good discipline by Abby Salt on that pitch. Anna Tassoni, her pitch is in. And 4 straight balls and another walk issued by the Greyhounds pitching staff. And so the bases are now loaded with 1 out. And Joey Trawick, the number 7 hitter, she singled in the 6th inning. And here she is facing Anna Tassoni in the 7th, and a pitch that's outside for ball 1. Tassoni ready. Wines delivers, and a nice strike there as Trawick watched that one go by. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Tassoni ready right away with the next pitch. Trawick gets underneath that one. 3 of them converge on it. And a nice throw home that holds the runner at third. And you can hear how many Assumption fans are here by all the applause as UT down to their last out on that Salt flyout. That's caught and brings up McKenna DiMartino. And DiMartino, the shortstop, she flew out to left field in the 2nd inning and then walked in the 4th, and here she is in inning number 7. Strike 1 to her. She needs to come through, or UT's 12-game winning streak is going to end. Gets underneath it, sends it to the outfield, and it's going to drop. And the Spartans are going to win as Galehouse crosses the plate, and there's the winning run. Abby Salt crosses home plate, and they mob McKenna DiMartino. UT comes from behind with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, and they preserve their winning streak with a walk-off victory against a very disappointed Assumption University team that was looking for the upset. Late inning heroics by McKenna DiMartino, and the Spartans sweep the doubleheader with a 3-2 victory. All 3 runs come in the bottom of the 7th inning. And UT wins its 13th consecutive game. They improve to 17-1 overall. And a heartbreaker for the Greyhounds, who fall to 0-6 on the season. And what a memorable game for McKenna DiMartino, as she gives the Spartans a 3-2 win. And tip of the cap to Assumption University. Final line score, Assumption had 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors. UT had 3 runs on 6 hits and 1 error. And as I mentioned before, the Spartans will be back in action on Friday with a doubleheader here at home, starting at 1 o'clock when West Liberty provides the opposition. If you've been watching from an Assumption University perspective, thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Your team will be active again tomorrow in Winter Park, Florida at Rollins College, a doubleheader that starts at 5 p.m. The final score here in Game 2 of the doubleheader, UT comes from behind to win it 3-2. Mariah Galehouse gets the win. She's 6-0 on the year. Anna Tassoni takes the loss. She's 0-3. And Bruce Worsniak